This is Parcaut, and we're live again. And today I have a special guest, Francisco Ruvalcaba. He's an agent in town, or you call it Realtor. We always say it wrong. I want to thank you for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. We started working together, I don't know, a couple months ago.
Right. Yeah.
And for me, I was really shocked. I'm going to tell everybody that how at your age, how hard you work as a licensed real estate agent. It was amazing to me, and a lot of people don't understand. It's huge, and you're probably thinking it's no big deal. That's what I do, right?
Yeah. No, it's definitely. I think, across the board, it's just the energy that I bring to it. I'm always really thinking and considering my clients to the fullest extent.
And that's amazing because a lot of people at your age, and please don't take that wrong, aren't that way. And so I was really shocked. And what really got me is the first deal we actually did together was a vet, and you got him into contract. I'm not talking recently, when it might be easier, but I'm talking with huge, really hard to get people in, and you got the VA offer accepted, which is unheard of in this market. So congratulations on that.
No, thank you for that. Yeah, no, and it was, that itself, it was a challenge when, because at the time they were already your clients, right? And they had told me they were shopping around. They went and looked around. They actually had even told me they had gone to some other agents, which discouraged them and told them that going VA would be impossible in this market. And, sure enough, what I told them is, I don't believe anything is impossible. I just believe that it's going to take a bit more work and a bit more time. It took a little bit more time, but sure enough, we got them into something, which is.
Well, they loved it. I mean, the whole she went back to school to be able to own a home, right?
Yeah.
That's, and they were not young, they were older, and this is their first home. And so they were amazed. But the fact that, and what was weird about that, usually if I get somebody, I refer them to one of my agents, but they had already had an agent they were working with. That's the person that eventually told them not to go VA. And then they found you at was it open house?
No, so it was actually, they already had appointments scheduled, I believe, with that agent, maybe even with others, because he told me they were going to multiple different places. And I told them, I said, hold on, if you'd like, I could set everything up for you, and, I'll take you to each and every one. But she was like, you know what, we already got it set up. We don't want to go that route. So, with talking with them, I told her, I said, okay, that's fine. I'll meet you at the time it was my listing. I told her I would meet her there. I'd open the door up for her and show them around, with the thought of, I might or might not work with them, but regardless, I just wanted to be there for them. Right. So, opened the door up for them and showed it to them. They liked it, at the time, and they were thinking about offering on it, but everything had kind of just gone a little too fast with that one, and it went pending.
Right. Now I want to get to the topic. I just want to introduce you, and that's what I did. But we have a topic today: buyers missing an opportunity. Right? We were talking before we came on. What's happening right now with a lot of buyers are getting discouraged. Wouldn't you agree?
Correct. Yes,
right.
A lot.
Right. Because they're seeing the rates have went up. And for most people buying their first house right now, they've been spoiled with the really, really low rates that they think these rates are horrible. These are our average rates. So the opportunity I was telling you about is the opportunity they're missing is the fact that a lot of people feel that way and they're not writing offers where you could get out there and write your offer and get it accepted because other people aren't.
Right. Yeah, no, and it's something that I do tell everyone, and it is right. The rates are high and it can seem discouraging, but the thing is, these sellers aren't getting the same attention that they were getting a few months ago. It's not these crazy, ridiculous offers. What I've actually been seeing a lot less of too is, people offering over appraisal value, which for, a really long time, and it still is out there, but it's not out there as much. It's not seeming to be one of those requirements or statements.
Well, it depends on the price point. I think it depends on that dollar amount. I mean, if it's FHA and below that price point, depending on the county, it's still that way. But above that, I don't see it the same way because there are not as many people. But you're right. I mean, but it's a huge opportunity that buyers need to take advantage of. They need to, yes, go back to their person who's handling their transaction, and they also need to shop around. And I'm not trying to be a jerk here right now, but there are some companies, their rates are way more higher than other people's company. And that's because of how they're set up. And in this market, that can be a difference between a 4.75 and a 5 1/4 FHA or 5 and, You really need to make that look out there and shop. I have no problem people shopping me because I want to make sure they understand what they're getting when they come to me. But it's huge, a difference between, can I afford this house or do I not qualify for this house anymore?
Right. Yeah, no. And it could, like you said, I mean, it could make it or break it. And it's just that simple act of, and it's funny. I always tell everyone, you're buying a house, you should do the best that you can and have yourself in the best position, which is why, I always work with you as well, and why I always send people over your way is because, I know that you're putting in that effort and you're doing what you can to actually get them somewhere. I truthfully only work with lenders and other people in my sphere of influence, if you will, who I know bring the same energy and almost passion as well, if you will, to the table.
Well, it's important to get people into a home, and so they want to do it again. And that's the process too, is make sure the process is as easy as possible. I'm not saying don't qualify them. I'm just saying make it as easy as possible so that they want to do it again. Because there are some people in our industry that, and even on your side of the industry, that make it a little bit more difficult to do things. And the easier you make this for your clients, the more they're going to refer to you, the more they're going to come back, the more you get rid of those pain points that are there for them to, get in there. They're going to like you more. They're going to want to refer to you more and move forward. But the most important thing I wanted to, and we talked about it, was you're missing an opportunity by not buying today, because the market today, where the interest rates are. The interest rates will go down eventually, and do a refinance, because we are going to go into recession. The Fed raised short-term interest rates today a half, right? So if you look at the last 14 times Fed raised interest rates, right, during the cycle that, the 14 times they've done it. I'm not talking they did it 3 times and that was one cycle. No, I'm talking the time that they actually came in and raised them for that period. Then it's been 14 times. 11 of those times we went into recession. We had 3 soft landings in that period of time. The history of the United States has been tracking it. So we're going to go into recession. It's just nothing we can do about it.
Right. And then, and it's one of those things where, again, as we are trying to highlight within the video, is that, everybody really just needs to try, regardless. I mean, it's one of those things too, where we still have some of those people that sometimes don't, are discouraged, right? And they don't even want to try to get qualified because they hear, it's hearsay, he say, she say. Everyone's like, right now it's crazy. But like I always tell everyone, another big thing is, even just in general, you don't want to base your purchase off of the general market as well. I always tell everyone, you got to base it off of your own personal wants, needs, and desires in the current time. Waiting for the market. I mean, it's almost like, the stock market, right? It's like they always say, it's better to be in it consistently than to be waiting for that one drop. It's hard to count that or calculate that. I mean, look at COVID, right? No one probably saw what was going to happen coming from like a mile away. That it was unpredictable.
Right, but we should have, because it's a 100-year thing. But nobody knew when that 100-year was going to happen. But we say in our industry, that's like rates, right? People go, well, I want the lowest. No one ever comes to me and says, I want the highest rate and the highest payment. No one ever, or, highest rate and highest cost, any of that stuff. They always want the lowest and lowest cost, which we get that. But in this, when I was talking about recession, it wasn't a bad thing. It's a positive thing, because that means every recession we go into, rates drop. Right. So that means rates will go back down, but you don't want to wait for the rates to go back down, because you're going to run into the same thing we just been through. You're going to fight competition again, because values are going to continue to go up, and you're fighting a lot more competition. Why don't you do it? Warren Buffett buys things when other people don't want it. It's the same thing with real estate. You want to buy it now when most people are saying, oh, it's just crazy. I don't want to get in there. It's going to be a bubble. There's no bubble.
Right.
That's another show.
And, and again, I mean, you even look at like, we were even kind of talking about it, like the investment loans right now, right?
Right.
Where they're ridiculously high. But once again, when the competition isn't there, I've been talking to one of my clients, and it's like I told him, I said, buy while you can. There's not much competition out there. Buy and hold on to it. Obviously with real estate, it's always gonna, you're always gonna make your money. So, you buy it and you hold it, and in a few, months or year or whatever, you go ahead, you refinance, get the rate lower again. Right now they're a little high. well, normal, this is real estate.
All right. You keep saying they're high, but for somebody like me who came in this industry where I took people from 13 to 9 and they love me,
Right.
This is nothing. This is normal interest rates. The reason they were so low for that 2-year period is we were in a recession,
right.
Which is hindsight. You can go back and bring charts. I can do all that. I don't want to do that. That's why. So guess what? Buy that. Tell your guy, go buy it now. And as long as it pencils, that's a good deal.
Right.
If it doesn't pencil, that's not a good deal.
No, exactly.
And if you don't know what penciling means, that means the numbers work because you ran the numbers and you have a profit at the end, not a negative.
Yes. And he is so, technical about it, which I love. Everyone should be. Like I said, even when it comes down to just getting your loan, but he penciled it out all the way, and he's positive, but not where he wants to be. Right. So, and it is one of those things where, again, like I said, especially when it comes to those types of rental properties, we were even speaking about it, rents is one of those things that definitely doesn't seem like it's going to be going down. They just keep going up. So when it does come down to those investments, even right now, like you said, there's these moments of opportunity, or, even if, it's a first time investor, how you were saying, maybe to have somebody purchase one of those properties and actually live in one of the units. Right. That's really one of the best moves to make right now too. If you've been waiting for one of those opportunities, now is a great time,
right? Where
you can kind of go in, capture and get one of these homes that, it's generating you income. And I mean, across the board, you're going to even be paying less than rent, where you would be possibly right now, a bedroom going for like,
you're paying a room rent is what you're going to be paying on one of those.
Right.
I mean, the one thing about, and that's, if you can do that, if it's your first home, right? You're single, or if you're a young couple and no kids and you're not planning on having kids for a while, that is the best thing to do. Buy that investment property as a home first, because you can do it FHA 3.5% down. You can do it, conventional a little bit more, but there is a way to do it. And then if you try to buy that later, it's 25% down on 3 units. So, you can get in for 3.5. I've helped many people do it, and they've benefited from it. And we were talking off camera beforehand. I had one people who they did it. She lived in it, and it didn't, it paid enough to where she paid a little bit of her mortgage, but not all of it. But then eventually, when she moved out to do other things, it eventually now has almost a $2,000 income per month on top of the payments. It actually pays for her other house that she owns.
Right.
Now, right. Yeah. So, but then she bought another house and then rented that house out. So that's how you build, real estate over time. Don't worry about where the market is. Don't worry about where interest rates are. It's the opportunity. And over a 30-year period, it's not going to matter.
Right. And that's what I also, always mention to my investors is, obviously with these investments, these are long-term. These are some where across the board, they're going to be passively making money. I always tell my clients, I want to, if I can, obviously because it's always, they've got to be willing, but if I can, I always want to help my clients hopefully reach a point of financial freedom, right? Because and I've talked with my clients about this time and time, where even retirement plans, right? It's not enough. A lot of the times, people, when they retire, it's just not enough. So when you have these sort of investments on the back end and they're going, and not only that, but also building the equity consistently. And he even at a point he was considering, we've been looking at some triplexes and duplexes and stuff around the 500,000 mark and a bit above. But some of the, he almost wanted to look at the smaller ones because the rates were so high, and he was like, the prices, it just doesn't make sense or whatever. But while he was on there, we kind of started thinking, we're like, well, 30 years from now, are you going to rather to have a property price, which is right now around 200,000, it might go up to 3-4, but why not get the bigger one or whatever? And then, in 30 years time, it's going to obviously accrue value and you're going to have a bigger asset. So, which nonetheless, like I told him, neither of them are wrong.
No, it's a long-term thing. And you definitely, real estate investing in the past was all about units. It wasn't about a single family house. The thing these days is there's just not any homes. So you're either going to buy a house or you're going to rent a house, right? You're either going to buy a condo or you're going to rent a condo. You're either going to be in units or you're going to be renting a unit. Your choice. What do you want to do? Rents are continually going up, and they're going to go every time your leases due, they're going to raise 5%, because that's what they can do.
Right.
And every time they're going to do that, if you move out, they're going to do what they have to remodel it, technically, whatever that term is, to get it to the market rate again. And that's the problem with rents. It's going to continue to go up. So let's lock in your rate, lock in your actual payment for the rest of your life until you want to go buy and do something else. Right.
Yeah, no, and it is whether it be those investments or, like we said, the house. I mean, even those primary houses eventually turn into investments too. Whether you size up or you have a change of mind, want to go somewhere else. I always tell people, I'm not the agent that is like, oh yeah, you should sell. I always tell my clients, those investments are gonna go a long way for them. If they don't need to sell in order to move to the next step or whatever, why sell?
Right. Refinance it before, take that money off of your down payment, and then move on and have your renters pay it. Exactly. I had some people do that to pay their student loans off.
Yeah, and it's I always tell people that too. It's funny when they are a little discouraged or they're just like, I'm not ready yet or whatever. I always tell everyone, as soon as you can go to a lender and you can get qualified and you can get a loan and you look at that number and it's something feasible, a lot of the times too, I always tell people it might just lead to a little bit of a lifestyle change, right? Like no more Starbucks or something like that. But
not that we have anything against Starbucks, so don't send the hate mail to us.
No. Yeah, no, but just little things like that where
stop eating out.
Exactly.
Cook at home.
Yeah.
I remember my kids, and they're all like, they'd eat out 3 times a day at McDonald's, different places. Like, dude, you know how much money you're wasting? But it's that whole thing. I can. Well, let's start planning for your future, and they've done a lot more. All right, so we don't want to go too much longer, but today is you're missing an opportunity as a buyer not to be buying right now.
That's right.
Correct?
Correct. Yep, definitely. Especially, and don't let anything discourage you. Like we said, if you can do it, do it.
Get to it with somebody like myself. Let them run the numbers, and then they can tell you what you can do, what you need to change, or if you can't do it today, when can I do it? Do I need to go get and I say this all the time, go get a better job. With 11 million jobs out there, you can get a better job so that you can get a house. The most important thing to build personal wealth is through home ownership. So get out there and do it. Francisco, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I hope you come back again.
No, thank you.